I usually never make videos on Friday nights, but my baby daddy's cooking dinner and I'm waiting for that. But I wanted to answer this question. I have videos over on my channel, which I won't say the name of the platform, but where people have channels about breast disease and everything that I dealt with. But basically what initially happened in January of, let's see, was it 2020 or 2019? January of 2019, I found like a small lump on my breast. It was kind of like on the outside. We have a history of breast cancer on my dad's side of the family. I went and saw my regular doctor. They referred me to have a mammogram. They checked everything out and they said that it looked like maybe it was just a cyst and it would go away, and to follow up with them in 6 months, almost 6 months to the day in June. At the time, this was after I had like lost all the weight on keto. I was like over 260 pounds. I went down to like, I was really small. I got down to like a size 0, and my breast prior to me losing weight, I was a 56G. Once I lost all this weight, I went down to like a 32. So I had a lot of really loose skin and my nipples like pointed down to the ground. So I'm in the shower, and to wash my breasts, I would have to like lift them up and wash underneath to get like the boob sweat and stuff. I lift up my right breast, and when I lifted it up, I felt something in my breast the size of a bar of soap. And I immediately freaked out. First I thought I got titty again. And then I was like, no, this is hard. This is not titty. Like, this is weird. So I immediately contacted my doctor. My doctor was like, don't even come see me. Go right back in for a mammogram. Literally the woman that did my initial mammogram in January of 2019 was the same woman, very sweet lady with all these grandkids, same lady that did my mammogram in June of 2019. And I will never forget. Sorry, my phone is dying and it was letting me know. But I'll never forget, sweet old lady, she's in the middle of telling a story about her grandson, and she literally stopped mid-sentence as she's doing the mammogram, and she just never speaks again. She walks out of the room, she goes and gets other people, they come in the room, they're looking, nobody says anything. I then go into an ultrasound room, they're doing all of this stuff and nobody's saying anything. The doctor then brings me in and sits me down and asks me, like, I'm still sitting there in the robe, and he asked me, he comes up to me and he says, do you have children? And he sits down, he says, do you have children? And I was like, yeah, like, what's going on? I knew something was going on. And he says, I have been doing this for 40 years and I feel comfortable telling you that I think we've caught it soon enough, but you have breast cancer. And literally everything drained from my body. I just started crying. Hold on, baby Anthony's having a moment. Before they had done the biopsy, all that stuff, he said I had BI-RADS level 5, which I'm not sure exactly what it means, but I know that it's like 97 or 98% of the time a BI-RADS, and I think it's BI-RADS. Level 5 is like a 97 or 98% surety that it's breast cancer. He said he'd been diagnosing it for 40 years. And he was willing to bet, like, so comfortable that, because usually they don't tell you that stuff. They wait for the doctor to call you. So to come back the next day, for a biopsy, and literally I have a video. I just, for something in that moment, something told me to start recording, and I'm in my dressing room getting ready to, get dressed. And I remember I was so skinny back then. I almost looked sick. I was so skinny. But I just started saying over and over and over again, he's a good father. He's a good father. You're a good father. You're a good father. You're a good father. Like, I'm told 2019, what was that? 5 years ago, I was 29, 30 years old. Being told that you have breast cancer, it's like devastating. I've got these little kids, I think Huxley was 2 at the time, 2.5, maybe 3. And so I come back the next day, they do the biopsy, and at the time they had done the biopsy and they let us know, it's going to be a while. It's probably going to take us a couple of weeks. With this type of thing, there's lots of tests that we have to run and all of this stuff. And I'm just like, okay. I end up, getting a phone call a few days later. I decided to fast from the time I had the biopsy. This was supposed to be to let us know like how bad it was. And so I decided to fast. I fast, for, I can't remember how many days it was. But leading up to, I was just going to fast until I got the phone call. And I think it was like maybe Father's Day weekend or something like that. And I get the phone call. Hey, baby, you feeding me? What is it? Chicken? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, it looks spicy.
I do.
So good.
That good?
Yeah,
really? Is it good?
Mm-hmm. It's delicious.
Cool.
Really good.
Thank you for letting me to cook it the way I like to cook it.
You're welcome.
On a Traeger. Low and slow.
It is spicy.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's good. Yes. Oh. Very good way. Sorry. Baby daddy loves giving me his meats. fasting, praying, waiting to get this phone call. I didn't know how long the fast was going to be, but they said it was probably going to take weeks for these test results to come back. I ended up getting a call back. I want to say it was in maybe 3 or 5 days. I cannot remember exactly. I know in my original YouTube video, when it was much closer to when everything happened, I get everything a little bit more accurate. So I'm like, oh my God, she's lying. Because 6 years ago, she said it was 3 days, and now she's saying it was 4 days. I don't remember how many days it was, but it was a couple days. He calls, and then sitting in a movie theater, getting ready. Something told me to turn my phone back on, because I always have it on silent and I forget to turn it back on. And something told me to turn my phone back on. I was going to need it. He literally calls as I'm walking out of the movie theater and says, I don't know what's going on, but we can't find a cancer cell. Of course, I'm relieved because you told me that it was cancer, which is a whole nother thing because I was very upset about that. And I don't even think it was appropriate for him to do it how he did it. But he said he was willing to bet his license on it, and he should have had it taken because I didn't. I couldn't find a cancer cell. And he said, so there's no cancer cell. I was like, okay, so I'm good. He's like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. So we'll just watch it and we'll see what happens. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm good. It's probably whatever this is just going to go away. And it didn't go away. It got worse. Even worse. I had to go away for work a couple of days after that. And while I'm at work, I think I was in Alabama. I thought I got a mosquito bite, like right in the area where I had the biopsy. And, right in the area where I had the biopsy. And so I'm like, this is so weird. I got a mosquito bite right here. When I get home, I was like in immense pain. I'm sitting there like in a church service and I keep having this sharp pain and it's like not going away. It's like taking my breath away, where, you know, that period pain where it feels like someone's like got, you know, going from like back to your butt. That's how it felt, but in my breast. And it was just horrible pain. I get home, I go back to see my doctor. They try to put me on an antibiotic, see if that'll go away. They're like, if it doesn't go away, we don't know what it is, and we're gonna have to send you to somebody else. They end up referring me to a breast specialist. I get into the breast specialist. It still hadn't gone away. The night before, I kept telling the doctors, I'm calling them, I'm like, I think my breast is gonna explode. And I have all the pictures of it. They're really nasty, and I don't really think I can even show them because I'm not going to lose my account over it. But I have all the pictures and everything. And it's like, it goes from being this mosquito bite, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it's like, it's just being pulled taut. I'm like, I think my breast is going to explode. Like, I don't know if it can get any more tighter, what was going on with the skin. And my son, I was supposed to go to the doctor on a Monday. My son runs up and hugs me on a Sunday night, and he ran so hard into my chest. You know how like 2-3-year-olds do. And my breast exploded, blood everywhere. It was horrible. So I go to the doctor. They're trying to figure out what's wrong. They ran all these tests, and I don't know if they immediately told us. I cannot remember off the top of my head. I don't know if they immediately said it was IgM, or if they were trying to like rule everything else out. I don't remember how quickly I got the diagnosis. I do remember though, and this is why I always check my DMs on Instagram. I don't know why. Someone told me about IgM in a message. It was like, maybe it was this, because I share everything. So I shared everything back then when it happened. And I just decided to look it up. And then when the doctor said it to me, I was like, oh, that's what that person told me. I can never find that person again. But thank you to whoever you are. But then it's just a series of masses, me getting these masses again, them rupturing and me going in. So my initial symptom was a lump in my breast, mammogram, and on the what's crazy is on the mammogram, it looks and presents itself like it is breast cancer. So I don't fault this doctor for saying this is what it is, but at the time there had not been a biopsy done. But from what he saw, I can understand. He's like, okay, this is an image of breast cancer and this is Abby's image. They look identical. Abby has breast cancer, but when they did the biopsy, he couldn't find a cancer cell. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was there and then now it wasn't because God stepped in. I don't know. I don't know if it just never was. I don't know if it was there and the granuloma was formed and protected me from it. I don't know, but they've never, ever, 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 ever found a cancer cell in my body. So idiopathic granulomatous, I think is how you actually say it. I usually call it idiopathic granuloma, but I think it's idiopathic granulomatous mastitis is not cancer. However, it looks like on all of your tests and shows up like cancer. And a lot of times people have misdiagnosis. It's not uncommon. And it's sometimes treated like that. Most of the women that find their way to remission actually have to have their breasts removed before they're able to get in remission. Was that a good Milky? Was that good? You see the light. You want to come talk. All right, I'll do another video on the other questions.